back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Judane. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the post notification bell so whenever I post, you will be notified. As you can see from the title down below, I found out that I'm 4 months pregnant, so I'll be telling you guys all about it. So sit back, relax, and grab your popcorn. Before I get into this video, as you can see, my voice sounds a bit different, and that's because I've been really sick. I honestly, for over 4 days, I've been in bed. I could not get out of bed. I had to push myself to do this video. I've lost 10 pounds. Yeah, 10 pounds. Anyways, let's get into this video. So, I found out that I'm 4 months pregnant because at the time my period wasn't regular, and also because I have a blood disorder, so I really wasn't thinking anything of it. And when I found out that I was 4 months pregnant, I had a lot going on, so I wasn't really paying attention to myself or my health in that department, I would say, because I was dealing with some other issues. I was 24 years old when I found out that I was 4 months pregnant, or I believe I was 23 turning 24. And unlike your typical 23-year-old, I had a lot going on. I was going to school full-time, and I was also working. At the time, I had 2 jobs, which can be very difficult. I was going days without sleep. I would leave school, go to work, leave work, go to school, and yeah. So at the time, I was working for the city of Toronto. I was working at a hospital called St. Michael's, and I was working with cancer patients. So yeah, I was on the cancer unit, and I was working at a nursing home with the city of Toronto, and I was going to school to continue my nursing studies. For those of you who are in Canada, you understand how nursing goes. For those of you who are not, you understand that you can do nursing half and half. Like, you can go to nursing school for 2 years to be a registered practical nurse, or you can go to school for 4 years to be an RN, and then another year to be a nurse practitioner. So basically, I started school and I did the half and half because I didn't have a lot of money to go straight into school, and I figured if I went to college first, it would be a cheaper route for me, as I wanted to be flexible, and I wanted to be able to pay my bills, because I had bills to pay. I wasn't your typical student who was at home and getting support. So I already graduated before, so I was already working. So one particular day I was at work, and I think I was at the city of Toronto. I was at the nursing home. So I would have a morning shift with the nursing home at 7 a.m. to 3, or 6 a.m. to 2. It depends on my rotation. And then I would have to work every other weekend, and I would be on evening shifts at the hospital, and I would also work weekends or whenever needed, because as you know, in nursing, you have no life. Okay. At the time, I didn't really have a child or anyone, so I could have worked how I wanted to work and do what I wanted to do at the same time. I was not pretty outgoing at the time, as I had a lot going on. Sorry guys, I'm still sick. I was diagnosed again with COVID. So I recently tested positive for COVID for the second time in less than 2 months, in less than 1 month. So that, and I lost weight. So I'm gonna be sniffling here and there. I apologize. So when I was at work, in the morning you go to work, there's a nurse manager on site, and there's a director of care. We call her the DOC or him. So they will distribute your caseload to you, and you have a list of patients. I would have 10 patients per day, per shift, but I would still need to be able to assist my team whenever they needed help. So I did my rounds in the morning, and when I was checking on my last patient, because as you know, you have to do your rounds in the morning to make sure to ensure that your patients are okay, and then you need to do be present after your round for exchange of report from the other team, like the night shift. Considering like I was the morning shift, we had to do report. They had to tell us what happened the night before with all the patients, and so and so. So in nursing, there's no you leaving without giving me a report. We all had to sit down and have a meeting every morning for end of day or end of shift report rather. So then after the end of shift report, I went into this patient room. No one told me that the patient had tuberculosis. And I'm telling you this story because I'm trying to show you guys how I got pregnant and really didn't know I was pregnant and the reason why I got pregnant. So I went into this patient's room, and before I went into this patient room, the rules are you need to check the Cardex, you need to check the nursing care plan, and I did all of that. There was no note on file stating that my patient had tuberculosis, so I figured it's safe to enter that patient's room. Of course, I followed all the protocols, the procedures, did what I was supposed to do. Anyways, while I was in that patient room doing bedside nursing, the nurse manager was like screaming, "Judane, get out of the room, get out of the room." And I really couldn't understand why she was telling me to get out of the room, because I've checked the care plan, I've checked everything. No one reported to me that there was an outbreak or this patient was in isolation or anything. So I was a bit confused. Then I said to her, "What's going on?" And she said, "We just found out, we just got word that this patient was tested positive for tuberculosis and you're not in your PPE. PPE is personal protective equipment." I wasn't wearing anything but my gloves, and as you know, that will not protect me from contracting tuberculosis. So immediately I came out of the room, and I believe they sent me home. I can't remember exactly. They sent me home and they told me that I needed to isolate for a bit and get tested for tuberculosis. As you know, as a nursing student or anyone working in health, you need to get a shot every year for tuberculosis. Like, it's like an immunization. So at being a nurse or a nursing student, you have to get certain immunization every year to protect yourself. So I wasn't worried because I'm like, okay, my tuberculosis shot is up to date. So I wasn't really worried about it. I thought that I'm gonna get tested and it's going to be negative because I'm fully immunized. So no, my results came back positive for tuberculosis, and I couldn't work for a while. Not only did they not pay me for those days that I missed, I had to stay home with no income. I couldn't go to school. I couldn't go to my other job because obviously, you know what? I didn't have to report that to them, but being a person of moral and ethics, I had to notify the other places to let them know, even if I was going to be losing money or missing out on class or whatever. So I told them I wasn't feeling well at the time and I couldn't come, whatever. So my doctor ordered more tests. He wanted to do like a chest x-ray and all that stuff. Luckily for me, when the results came back, I didn't have the tuberculosis that my patient had. I had non-active tuberculosis, and what that is, it's like basically I couldn't get anyone around me sick. Like, they couldn't get the virus from me, but it was living in my body. So basically, my doctor told me that non-active tuberculosis basically lives in your body. They don't know if it will go away or when it will go away. But he did tell me that in the future, it would be very likely that it would affect my organs and affect me. He asked me if I wanted to do treatment, and I said, well, of course, because knowing me, I'm going to be that I forgot the percentage that he told me, that it only becomes active in a certain percent. And knowing me, I said to him, knowing me, I'm very unlucky, so I'm gonna be in that percent, so you better treat me right away. And it was like very intensive like treatment. So um I was very happy that I could be around my family and be around my friends, and I could go back to work because it was non-active. I was also very nervous because I'm already on in a hospital where patients do have tuberculosis, MRSA, different types of like viruses and diseases. So my immune system is not as strong as it was before, because I now have a virus living in my body that could be active at any minute. So I agreed to do the treatment. And so basically, he gave me like 3 bottles of medication, and they were like huge. I actually forgot what they're called. And I had to be on these medication for 9 months. And then I would have to do ultrasounds, no, x-rays every month to check my lungs, because the non-active TB could possibly affect my lungs, and the medication that I was on can also affect my lungs, because like I said, it's intensive and it's invasive. So they had to check to make sure nothing was wrong. And also I was not allowed to drink alcohol, because the medication puts my lung at risk. Drinking alcohol will also make that worse, because as you know, alcohol do affect lungs. So at the time I was on birth control. But the birth control affects, so the medication that I was on prevents the birth control from working. So it was during the time that I was on those medications that I got pregnant. I didn't know that I was pregnant until like 4 months. I went to work, and I remember like the room being very hot. I felt like I was sweating, even though it was like I'm not normally hot. So I was in one of my patients' room, and I remember saying to my patient, like, "Do you feel hot?" She goes, "No, I'm cold. What are you talking about?" And that was the last thing I remember. I remember waking up downstairs in the emergency room, and I woke up, and basically they were like, "You've been here for a while. Your team rushed you down here. We're running some tests. You fainted, whatever." So anyways, they said they were gonna do if it was a possibility that I am pregnant, and I was like, no. Imagine the audacity of me to say no when I was clearly having sex. But at the time I was on birth control, I wasn't thinking that I could get pregnant because I'm on birth control, even though the medication, anyways, whatever. So I was like, no. And I kind of gave like the nurse some attitude, because I'm like, how dare you asking me this kind of question? And we had to wait. They did the blood test anyways, because it's protocol and whatever. And she was basically saying, well, let me go back to school. Let's rewind a little bit before I fainted at work. So when I was in simulation lab, so in nursing school, we have like these labs, makeshift labs, where you have like fake patients, and then you also have to practice certain procedures on your peers. So I was the guinea pig that week, and one of my classmates, she did my blood pressure. She took my so when you're in simulation lab, you have to go into the lab with like tights and belly tops, or like bathing suit, so your peers can have access to your body to practice like doing IV, doing whatever they need to do on you. So anyways, like I forgot so anyways, we would make up like scenarios, and they would have to guess what it is, what kind of illness you have or whatever, but they still had to check your vitals. So while I was in the stimulation lab being the patient that day, my classmate actually said to me, "Are you pregnant? You're showing signs of pregnancy." And I was like, "What? How would you know that?" She was like, "Your heart rate is really fast. your blood pressure is extremely like high, and based on your and I was also telling her that I was having nausea, like I was feeling dizzy, stuff like that. And she's like, yeah, you're pregnant. And I was like, no. I didn't listen to her, so I went to work and my ass fainted at work. She was right. So anyways, when I woke up, yeah, I told you that part. So the results, the blood test came back positive for pregnancy. And I knew I was pregnant because the nurse was like so rude before. She came in, she was all smiley, all giggly, like. And then she was like, Jadane, so we got your pregnancy test results and congratulations, you're pregnant. And honestly, I was not happy. I was like stressed out. I'm like, I have a lot going on. I just got my dream job. Even like, you know, like I was supposed to be going away to be a travel nurse, guys. Like my flight was booked, everything was booked. Your girl was gonna be out of this country. Imagine. So anyways, I found out that I was pregnant. It was very emotional for me because, you know, I kept saying to myself, why now? I'm not ready. I'm not ready to be a mom. I'm young. I have a lot going on in my life. I don't have time for no baby. Yeah. I was not happy. Not happy at all. Had to get off the medication that I was on for tuberculosis because you can't take those medication when you're pregnant or breastfeeding. It can affect your baby. Had to stop that treatment and went into pregnancy mom mode. While I was pregnant, I got another job here in Canada because I didn't feel like it was safe for me to travel while pregnant. As you know, with being a travel nurse, the assignment that you would have to go to various different countries, different parts of Canada, not only Ontario. I currently live in Ontario. So you would be flying all the time. And I feel like it wasn't the best thing to do for my growing baby. So I decided to jump into mom mode, and I gave up on that. I actually emailed my boss and I told him that I wouldn't be coming on the assignment, and he didn't even respond. He was so pissed because they booked my flight. They had plans for me to be there at a certain time. I told them I wasn't going to be there, and then last minute, I'm telling you now, I can't go. Yeah. That was that. So anyways, I just want to say, although I wasn't happy that I found out that I was pregnant, 4 months pregnant at 23, I love being a mom. I love my daughter so much. I have no regrets because she makes me the person that I am today. And honestly, she's the best thing that has ever happened to me. And I love her to pieces. I can't even, sometimes thinking about her makes me so emotional. That's how much I love my kid. And yeah, even though I didn't get to pursue my dreams of being a travel nurse, my lips are so dry because of this whole COVID thing. But anyways, even though I didn't pursue my dreams of becoming a travel nurse, because like I could like go ahead and do that, but at the same time I want to be consistent. I want to be around. I want to be in my daughter's life 24/7. So that dream is out of the window. I have no regrets. I actually went back to school. I ended up working in the healthcare industry for 10 plus years. I would say 11 years. I just quit my job. Well, not fully quit. I'm now on call. But before, I was actually stuck doing jobs that I didn't like. Because as you know, like the daycare system here in Canada, they're only available at like 7 a.m. to like 6 p.m. And sometimes I needed to be at work at a different time. So it was very challenging for me. So I decided to go back to school. Ended up going back to school after I had my daughter, which was 2015. I got fired from my job at St. Michael's when I had my baby in 2015 because there was a fire at her daycare, and daycare had called me to pick up my daughter, and my manager wouldn't let me leave. She basically said that if I leave to go pick up my child, I would be abandoning my patients. And I legit told her, my daughter's daycare just called me and there has been a fire. They're outside, it was winter, they're outside on a field because the place has been burnt down to the ground, and they wanted all the parents to come and pick up the child. I told her that, and I only had like 2 hours left in my shift. She wouldn't let me go, so I walked off because my daughter's more important to me. Duh. So she was like, oh, if you're paying for childcare, they're responsible for your child. They gotta protect your child. Yes, I understand that, but there has been a fire at my daughter's daycare. Everyone's displaced. Like, so I walked off and she fired me. And she fired me, and I decided, you know what, I'm sick and tired of going through all this nonsense. So I went back to school and I studied social work, and I actually love my job. I love my job because, yeah, I get to work from home now. I work with survivors of intimate partner violence and human trafficking, and honestly, yeah, I have no regrets. Like, having my daughter, she's everything to me. I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the post notification bell so whenever I post, you will be notified. Peace out. I hope you guys have a great day.